Bum ba da dum ba da 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 dum ba da da da. My mic wasn't turned on. And I'm looking to find my Facebook people. Hello, my mighties. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to see you. You're looking good. You're all looking good. I see you all there now. Yep. Yep, you can hear me now. Let's see if I can get Facebook friends up as well. And so I want to be able to read their comments as well as my mighty friends. So my name is Joette Calabrese, for those of you who don't know me. And I'm here every Monday night at 8 Eastern time. And I'm here to do one thing, and that is to teach you how to use homeopathy for your friends, for your family, for yourself, for all who matter in life. This is important to all of us. Now more than ever, wouldn't you say? Now more than ever. This is the time. So, for those of you, and this is what we're going to be doing tonight. What we do every Monday night, we're going to go to my Materia Medica, and we're kind of skipping around because I skipped a few over the years, and it was made clear to me by, and let's see if I can find her name. She was so lovely in sending this off to me, Denise. Thanks, Denise. I appreciate it. So tonight we are going to talk about after surgery, when the person is spacey from drugs medicine, or if spacey from drugs, this is the medicine. And this is what we're going to be talking about. There's more to this medicine than that. It's also one of our great medicines for coughs, for respiratory conditions, for epistaxis, nosebleeds, as well as anxiety. So we're going to get that up and going in just 1 minute. I'm still looking for Facebook people. I'm going to assume that we're set and that I just may not be able to read them this time. Read the comment on Facebook. I'll just keep trying. Anyway, okay, let's get started, shall we? Hi, everyone. I see you. I see Pat and Linda and Sandy from Minnesota and Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Leanne's a student in our academy. And for those people who have just purchased, or even if they've not just purchased, one of the Gateway study groups, if you want to join a group, contact my office tomorrow and talk to Eileen. She'll hook you up with a group. Or you can start your own study group. And even if it's a small one, she can set you up with another group and all of you can meet together online. And that's exactly what we want to happen. So it's very important, I think, to try to bring in your own friends and family, colleagues, neighbors, churchmates, homeschooling friends, because it's much more valuable to you when you are in a study group to have people with you who you know, who are neighbors or are close by, because those are your affiliates. Those are the people that you spend time with. And that's very important that you have them to help you and you can help them. So we're looking to find, yeah, it's not coming in. Facebook's not coming in. Well, we're going to assume that it eventually will. All righty. So tonight we're going to talk about a medicine that I don't use as often as one would think. You would think I would use it frequently because it's a polycrest. And what is the polycrest? Polycrest is a medicine that has many applications. Now, it might seem as though all of these medicines have many applications, but this medicine in particular and polycrest in particular have a great deal of history associated with their use, clinically speaking. So, the medicine is phosphorus, plain old phosphorus. And it is it's an the keynote, one of the keynotes is restlessness and overexcited, but there's so many more keynotes. I hate to leave it just as restless and overexcited, because this medicine is a great medicine for, as I said, ailments from a drug, especially a drug in which someone has been put out. So general anesthesia. It's also great for anesthesia, whether local or general, in a dentist's office. And I'll explain why. Because this medicine is for when the person is not coming to properly. They are vague. They feel maybe confused. They might feel spacey. They might feel even anxious, but off in some way. And they are perhaps loquacious and very worried about their well being, or simply they can't seem to come to. They may also have a headache from anesthesia. So, this is a great medicine to have on hand when a loved one or someone you know is going into surgery, and you need to have this ready for them. Now, especially for the dentist office, because it is a medicine that affects the psyche. There's no doubt about it. And general anesthesia can cause even amnesia, etc. There are many conditions that can be caused as a result of anesthesia. You might want to look it up so that you know what to expect. But phosphorus 200 is the medicine that we use to help resolve that. And particularly for dental considerations, when there's a dental surgery, there's general anesthesia, as I said, or any other kind of anesthesia that's used in the dental chair is particularly valuable, because think how close that is to the spinal cord and to the thinking of the brain, etc. It is a very valuable medicine for after surgery, especially dental surgery. So we use it phosphorus in a 200C, and we might use it twice daily for a few days until it's done. I don't use this medicine prophylactically before surgery unless I know that the person in my family is particularly prone to something like an inability to resolve the anesthesia. Then I might use a dose before. Now, it's also a great medicine for bleeding. Now, it's even hemorrhaging. And it's not just a little bit of bleeding, because, of course, we expect bleeding when there's surgery, especially dental surgery. But we're talking about dental surgery that causes bleeding that is pretty profuse, pretty intense. Okay, we're also talking about a need for phosphorus, generally in a 200, sometimes a 30, for heavy menses. I mean, heavy menses. And we don't want to just use it because the person has heavy menses. We want a three-legged stool if we possibly can get that. So if we can say, goodness sakes, this person has very heavy menses, and she also has bleeding from other areas, such as the nose. Not a little bit of nosebleed, a heavy duty nosebleed, the kind that you might say, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? This is going on and on and on. And she might have a dizzy feeling too, because there's a lot of dizziness and psychotropic. Maybe that's not the word I need to use. Issues that have to do with how we perceive life at that moment, right after the surgery, right after during the time of menses, right after a nosebleed, right after the anesthetic. I have to admit, pretty much just salt water, and um, I've had a gulp of what it was. I'm trying to think of buttermilk, raw buttermilk, which has been really fantastic. And it's been something that is a little uncomfortable for me, because I'm not on my game as much as I should be. I clicked out back to
Yeah, well, you're not
Facebook.
streaming anymore
Yeah, and we're not streaming. Goodness sakes. Oh, goodness. Bear with me tonight on day 2. So it's been 2 full days. And so I'm going to do the best I can. Let's talk about respiratory conditions is a need for phosphorus 200. And for pneumonia, especially if there happens to be any pulmonary hemorrhaging. We always want to think about that. We're not talking about just a little bit of blood, but a good deal of blood. Okay. And so, yeah, bad weather in Florida. I think that's the problem.
Just click out.
Click out?
Yep. Right over there.
Right here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm clicking out. Clicking out of Facebook. My goodness. And so it's for bleeding that is pretty hemorrhagic. So dental extractions that result in hemorrhaging, epistaxis, nosebleeds, pulmonary hemorrhaging, heavy menses. Those are all calls for a consideration for phosphorus. Now, some people I'm seeing with summaries say that they're using it in a 30th potency, but I have always used it in a 200, pretty much. Can you use phosphorus to stop emergency bleeding? Daughter had a gushing head wound 2 weeks ago. I used yarrow to stop bleeding, but wondering if this could have helped as well. I don't think of this as necessarily as an injury remedy. I would think more in terms of arnica or hamamelis arnica, but we could certainly consider phosphorus as well, but it wouldn't be my first choice. And let's see what else we've got. Okay, getting sound and visual on Facebook Live. No problem, Perry. Good to know that. But now it might be, now we're off. Isn't that interesting? Leaving Facebook always improves the audio for your mighties. Yes, thanks, Perry. All righty. And so let's go to some other aspects of this medicine. We also have a person who is frightened easily. They want company. They need to be around company. It can be a child who is sick. It can be a child who gets has respiratory conditions such as pneumonia or chronic bronchitis, recurring. Often colds often go to the chest for someone who needs phosphorus. And I wanted to make sure that that's understood, because some people, I know most people say that, well, of course the person is anxious because they are sick, but that's not so for many. Some people don't want to be with anyone. They want to be left alone. Some people would rather not talk to anyone when they don't feel well. Some people may be angry when they're sick, or they might be angry with their loved ones. All righty, let's see what else we've got here. I want to make sure that I've covered everything. There's an interesting aspect to this medicine, and that is that it's related to thunderstorms. There's a lot of fear around thunderstorms and lightning, and the person might get sick around thunderstorms and lightning. So it's something that is somewhat associated. It's not every time. Let's see. Phosphorus and bryonia both have a cold that drops to the chest. The difference is you want to see with phosphorus, it would be great if you had a little bit of anxiety to witness at that point. And bryonia is often worse from movement. So if they cough, they get much worse. There are actually many remedies that drop to the chest. And so I don't want you to think that it's only phosphorus or it's only bryonia. But I often start with, when there's a cough or a cold, I don't start with phosphorus. I automatically start with aconitum 200, bryonia 30. I like that combination. It's a Banerjee protocol. I like that combination for anything respiratory. Not sinuses so much, but generally the throat, the chest, etc. And that often will abort a cough or a cold, especially if it's getting to the chest. But if we need, we will indeed go to phosphorus, won't we? Okay, let's see if we have some more questions here. Okay. Thunderstorms for my dog. Interesting. I'm glad you brought this up because it's a fear of thunderstorms, and phosphorus is one of our best medicines for dogs that fear thunderstorms. You're absolutely right. I would use it in a 200, and I would use it for if you know a thunderstorm is forthcoming and the dog is already starting to shake or hide under the bed, by all means, if you just see the dog is starting to act up a little bit, by all means, you want to start with phosphorus too. That's what I would do. Now, Buster has never had any fear of thunderstorms. It's interesting how some dogs have that. Even big dogs often have it. Yes, and I would use it a couple times, 2, 3 times in a night if need be, especially if it's helping the dog. And if it's resolved, then we stop. If it's not resolved, but it's somewhat calmed down, then by all means, we're going to carry on with it even longer, even, another few doses. Okay, let's see what some of these other questions that you have. Can you use this during solar geomagnetic storms? Yes. Yes. Phosphorus has a lot to do with electricity. That's why thunderstorms are such a big deal. Yes. Yes. Phosphorus is working for my dog's fear of thunderstorms. 1 dose, each storm takes care of it. Lovely. Now, sometimes we're not as lucky as having 1 dose, 1 storm. Now, we're also going to find, most likely, let's see who said this. Carrie in Texas. What we'll find is that often after using this medicine a few times, the dog is not as fearful next time around. The dog may perhaps even do without it. Not that we want the dog to even suffer a little bit. Let's just give him or her a dose if need be. But you might find that over time, after many thunderstorms and using phosphorus, that the dog no longer needs it or only needs it occasionally or at a severe thunderstorm. Because we're talking about those 3 magic markers that I often mention. Less intensity to the symptom after using the medicine, lasting for a shorter period of time, and a larger space between each episode. Okay, our remedies from India safe. I heard they might have other stuff in them. I bought some remedies from RH Homeo and don't know whether to use them. My experience is I like to use American pharmacies because I know more about them. In fact, I just put up a blog last night about pharmacies. And when I was in India, I was told by the doctors that I worked with at the Prasanta Banerjee Homeopathic Research Foundation to not just buy from any Indian pharmacy, that only buy from certain ones. And I don't think it's quite as regulated as it is in the United States. Not that I'm looking for regulations, my friends, but Joette just made a list of, yep, there we go. Yes, I just made a list of pharmacies and it was posted last night on my blog. Many of these characteristics of phosphorus seem to match my friend's son, but his major ailment is asthma. You could certainly consider it for asthma. It's not my first choice, but if the person fits it very neatly, then yes, it could definitely be considered for asthma. Phosphorus is working on, okay. Now, what I urge you to do, though, before you start treating asthma is that you read up on it a little bit more, that you read phosphorus in the Materia Medica, and that you perhaps repertorize the kind of asthma that the person is suffering. In other words, is the person wheezing? Are they coughing? Are they anxious? Is it only at night? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are kinds of things. If you're not going to use a Banerjee protocol, then you certainly want to know how to repertorize and get it really good and tight. All right. Aconitum and bryonia. Yes. I think have I answered the questions? It's too much static. Some people in England, they use phosphorus when racehorses would sometimes bite their tongue and begin bleeding heavily. Yes, 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 yes. So that then goes to the head injury that someone was talking about. That applies to the head injury. And yes, a lot of bleeding with that injury can be valuable, but it wouldn't be my first medicine. I would still think of arnica. And then perhaps if the bleeding was still not resolving pretty quickly enough, then I would go to phosphorus. And I would use it for 200. Phosphorus 30 for dizziness worked on my elderly father when he was traveling away from home. Yes, it's a very good dizzy medicine. Absolutely. Think of if someone is experiencing dizziness, and whether that's from a medication or general anesthesia or a surgical protocol, it's a surgical procedure, then that would be very useful as well, but just plain old dizziness. Now, I've talked about dizziness and vertigo on my blog, so I urge you to check that out because I have other medicines as well. But if it worked, I always tell people, often folks will ask me, so I used this and it worked. Should I go to something else? No, that's the answer. If it worked, if the medicine acted, by all means, you stay with it. If the medicine no longer works, or at another time you go to use it and it doesn't act, now you move on. Never tinker with success. Phosphorus worked wonders on a cough my husband had recently. It got rid of his tickle and phlegm so fast that he asked, "Where did it all go?" Offered up to God. All righty. Let's see what else we've got. Let's see if I'll go back down to the bottom again. Okay, I think people are talking about the Amazon store because I've written about that. Uterus remedies have been amazing. Healed from chronic fatigue of 7 years with Uranus. I'm sorry, I thought it said uterus. Uranus said it. Uranus, yeah, and Uranus I think is a good pharmacy too. I didn't include all of them because I only use those pharmacies that I spend a lot of time with. It's great for a headache and vertigo from high altitude. Yes, it is a good altitude medicine. You're absolutely right. And if there's dizziness from high altitude, and if there's a headache from high altitude, absolutely. I love that you folks are using this and that you know how to use this medicine. All righty. I don't have Facebook questions to ask tonight or to answer tonight. And I don't know the blog number, but if you go to, you don't even have to go to the blog. You do Joette Calabrese Vertigo, and it'll just likely come up. So you don't even need to go directly to the blog. Tellurium is another good medicine for vertigo. Yes, thank you very much, Monica. You're absolutely right. And it works. For most people, it works. Phosphorus for after cataract surgery. If there are these symptoms. We're not using it just for this. We're using it for this when there are these symptoms. What are the symptoms? Bleeding, heavy bleeding, dizziness, spaciness, inability to come out of an anesthesia. So it's not just for a specific condition. It's for a specific condition with these symptoms. That's the way homeopathy works. I want you to really grasp that because it's not like conventional drugs. We use symptoms. And symptoms, my friends, are, as I always say, gifts. They are gifts. They tell us what medicines to use. Now, the sufferer may not think of it as a gift. The sufferer may be saying, why do I have all these symptoms? This feels terrible. I got EMF exposure poisoning. I was wondering if the toxic course might apply. Yes, the toxic course would apply. And we do sometimes use phosphorus for EMFs. Absolutely. And I would use it in a 30 or a 200. Phosphorus for diabetes. Yes, it is used for diabetes. Yes, it is. It's not, I don't know if phosphoric acid has diabetes in its listings, but yes, this phosphorus, plain old phosphorus. Yes, absolutely. I keep getting printed over labels on my Amazon. Yes, I know. It is very upsetting. I've been getting those too from time to time. I'll admit I still use Amazon occasionally when I need a medicine immediately because it's the next day delivery, but I am taking a chance, and so are all of us. Okay, I've been using it for glaucoma along with Banerjee Protocol. Great, great. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Indeed, let us know. And let's see, I have a couple. Let me see. I can't read these so well sometimes. Okay. Our naturopath has my child on phosphorus after he has an attack of irritable bowel syndrome, craving salt and ice. Yes, it can be used for gastrointestinal conditions. There's no doubt about it. And but we would want to see a little more than just this is for irritable bowel syndrome. There is a go through all of these other conditions. Is there any blood in the irritable bowel syndrome condition? In other words, is there blood in the stool? And is there anxiety? And is there a need to be with the parents? Is there a fear of thunderstorms? Is there a fear of night alone? Then we can start seeing. So I'm giving you a slight taste. I want you to go back to a Materia Medica. Start with mine if you'd like, or go to others that are online. Boraki. I've talked about Boraki before. This is my version of Boraki, the homeopathic Materia Medica. Love this book. I use it constantly. There's also the Materia Medica by Robin Murphy, much more extensive. And you can look up Boraki's Materia Medica right there online, my friends. It's free. So before you start using a medicine, I urge you to read up on it, learn as much as you can. When there's a protocol and it's very specific, that's different. I'm not giving you a protocol tonight. This is not a Banerjee protocol that I'm giving you. What I'm giving you is the overall picture of specific medicine. Okay. Yes, people are talking about loving their groups. By all means, join the study groups, Gateway 1 and 2. Gateway 1 to start, then Gateway 2. And I will tell you that what happens when you join a study group and you meet with others is that you become fast friends. And what happens with that is that in the middle of the night, when you're in trouble, you help take care of each other. You text each other and get advice from each other, and that these become lifelong friends that you can count on, who understand maybe a little more about homeopathy in this realm with children, and another one who has more understanding of homeopathy in acute issues. Okay. This Materia Medica is if you're looking for it, is published by Narayana Publishers. They're in Germany, but you can purchase them online. You just go to Narayana, spelled Narayana. Narayana Publishers. They actually sent this to me as a gift. It was just lovely. They sent it to me in 2017. Now I have another version of this book. It's hard. It's a hardbound, and it's thicker and it's heavier. But I like this because it's so lightweight. It's got very good quality paper, good quality print, and it's got the little silk tab for keeping my notes organized. And with that, my friends, I'm going to say good night, and I will see you next week. Use the blog whenever there's a concern and you don't know what to do. Joette Calabrese in the name of the condition, by all means. And there it is. There's a lot of information. 13 years I've been publishing this blog, and I've never missed a single Sunday night when we usually send them off to everyone. So off you go. Stay curious, my friends. God bless you all. Bye now.